A lot of you punish yourselves because you have not achieved to the level you want. And somehow you're under this false narrative that you can just kind of grind it out to the point of mental exhaustion. And somehow that's going to get the job done. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. It's totally counterintuitive. I get it, but it doesn't work. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether it's Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. It is Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, if you're watching or listening to this as we post it. And it's time for my conversation about what to do in the summer. In our world, the Magellan Network world, we call it period number 2, which is Memorial Day to Labor Day. I'll spend a little bit of time on that. But first off, here's some things that I found to be true in my 30-plus year career coaching financial advisors. I love the summer, and I think you do too. And the challenge sometimes is that we don't game plan for the summer properly, and it becomes a bit of a mishmash of half days, hanging out, not really doing a lot, and it's not what we want here. So a couple of rules or a couple of strategies I want to share with you guys in this episode. So first off, period number 2 is a great time, whether you have kids still in school or in the house, or if they're out of the house, doesn't matter. You want to take some downtime in the summer. And this is just me showing my age. For many decades, I never bought into the idea of a summer cycle. I always thought like Italy and France, like where they take the whole month of August off. And I said, that's a terrible idea. But as I've evolved in my thinking, I realized that it's a great thing to maybe not take the whole month off, but it's a great window to rest, work on some strategic projects for your business, definitely get all your CE credits done for the year, and get ready. So in our world, what I teach is basically like a 3-period annual calendar. So period 1 is basically January 1st to Memorial Day here in the United States. And that's our go time. That's when we want to be doing client reviews, growing the business, blocking and tackling, doing the basics, still taking some time away, still going on vacation, still getting our rest recovery. We're not like we're working straight through. But we're going to be more tactical, right? We're not going to be taking on any new initiative. We want to grow our business, serve our clients, and execute, right? And this is one thing you've got to remember. For most of you, the more you try to take on, the more diminished your focus becomes, the less effective you become. So it's not about doing everything at all times, right? So period one to me is about executing the game plan that we put together during our planning process and really staying focused on that. Unless it's absolutely warranted, we're not doing CE credits, we're not working on our website, we're not doing any new projects or initiatives. We're being very, very focused on execution. Now, period two shows up, which is kind of where we are in the threshold today. So that's Memorial Day to Labor Day here in the United States, summer basically. And if you've done your reviews in period one, period two, we should not have a lot of client reviews. We should just not. And so you can take a lot of those weeks and turn them into strategic weeks, working on the business, get your seed done for the year. Many advisors wait till like November, December, like at the last minute, they realize they're behind on their seed credits. It's a real fire drill that does not need to be. So one of the things I'm going to ask you to do, and again, I don't care your licensing, CFP, Series 7, whatever you need from a CE standpoint, know what you need and get it done in this period. Next, strategic projects. Client resegmentation. A lot of my clients will resegment their client base every summer. They'll update their website every summer. They'll go to their social media campaigns every summer. That's kind of what we'll do, right? Along with rotating our people out, our teams out for their vacation, their rest recovery windows, right? And then making sure we're getting our rest recovery window too. Right? Super, super, super important, right? Period three, which is basically Labor Day through the end of the year, is basically a shorter version of period one with two added elements, typically, maybe three. We're going to have RMDs. We're going to have to figure out our holiday plans, right? Both personally and professionally. And in my world, we work on updating our 10-year business plans, a Magellan Vision plan. That typically happens November, December. So there are some strategic elements in there. Then at the end of the year, right, the holidays, we always want to take time off. I know some of you, it drives me crazy, will work between Christmas and New Year's because you have last minute tax planning and trading and all that stuff, which I kind of get it, I guess. I still don't think it's a great idea. My concern on that is you come into the new year, which in this case would be 2026, burnt out, and you just don't have any gas in the tank. So I want you to think of this game. So here's some core philosophies that we have. Number one, I teach advisors never to retire unless there's health issues and a compelling future that they want to move towards, right? Like charitable stuff, life's like, I'm done. I want to go travel the world with my spouse, whatever. Cool. Okay. But if those things don't exist, I always say, why not stay in the game? But let's enjoy ourselves. For some of you who are part of what we do here and watch me regularly, you know that I literally just got off a 3-week sabbatical from a cruise from North America to Europe and seeing some things in between. And I'll do 3 of those sabbaticals every year. So sabbatical 1 is always my spring sabbatical, which is end of April, beginning of May. You can go back, I think a couple weeks ago I did a whole episode on my sabbatical. I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. I always have a summer sabbatical, which is end of July, beginning of August. And then I have my holiday end of year sabbatical, right? And those are normally 3 weeks. Next year they'll turn into 4 weeks. Why? Because I never plan to retire. I'll be 61 this year. And I plan to do this at a very high level for at least another 20, 25 years. Tom Cruise just said he's going to be making action movies at 100. So if Tom Cruise can do Mission Impossible 47 when he's 100, I think I can rock and roll in my coach chair until at least 85, right? The reason why I say this is I think a lot of you punish yourselves because you have not achieved to the level you want. And somehow you're under this false narrative that you can just kind of grind it out to the point of mental exhaustion. And somehow that's going to get the job done. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. It's totally counterintuitive. I get it, but it doesn't work. Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. So here's some other rules. So number one, take as much downtime as you possibly can, getting the things done that you need to between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Now, when I say no client meetings, does that mean we stop prospecting? No, we're always in business development mode. Does that mean that if a client has a 911? No, we handle all those, right? But if you're doing your annual review cycles, or whether it's semi-annual or annual, we just don't put any of them in the summer. We do them period 1 and period 3. Period 2 is for us. Depending on your situation, you may be able to do some sabbatical, maybe some bucket list stuff. If you can't, do some staycations. I'm cool with that, but just here's what you don't do. This is my golden rule. Never, ever, and I mean never, ever, go to your office and hang out. I don't care if the office is in your house, down the block, in a 55-story skyscraper. I don't care. Why? It creates a ton of bad habits, right? Because you have nothing else to do. Oh, I'm just going to the office today. Why? Because it's just habit. That's all. You're not going to really get anything done. You know that, too. You're lying to yourself. Like, you're not going to go drive the bus or move the needle. You're just going to go hang out and flip some emails and do some kind of quasi-research and just putz around, basically, right? So I've got a lot of clients who we have a summer model, and I'll share the summer model with you. So several of my clients, and we've experimented with this last year, worked really well, so I'll give it to you guys now. Monday through Thursday, they'll work basically half or 3/4 days. In early, morning ritual, come in early, rock it out, leave around 1, 2 o'clock, hang out with the kids, go play golf, pickleball, whatever, right? Friday, they're off, and they just do that. Now, somebody's going to sit there and say, well, what does that do to the staff? I don't know. You're paying them. So remember something. We pay our staff to be the shopkeeper so we don't have to be, right? We take all the risk in the game, and we think about our business all the time. You can lie to me if you like, but I know you think about your business on Saturday and Sundays. I know you think about your business in the evenings. I know you think about your business when you're in Disney World with the kids, at the beach, whatever, because that's what great entrepreneurs do. We always think about our business. So does that mean you're working? Yeah, at some level, that's what that means. So like when I was away on my sabbatical, there was not a day. In fact, there probably wasn't really more, unless I was sleeping, there probably wasn't more than a couple of hours that went by that I didn't think about my business. Is that bad? No. Some of my best ideas come from when my brain's relaxed and it's not trying to do things like, the task list, the schedule, all that stuff. When your brain relaxes, it becomes a different version of the brain, in essence, and you think a little bit more creatively, a little bit more strategically, and you kind of let it relax. Like, I call it like stretching out your brain, right? Stretch it out, feels better, stuff like that. So you're always going to be working. So that's why you pay your people to be there so you don't have to be. That's the bottom line. Somebody said, I need an assistant. I'm going to do all this other stuff. I said, great. You know what else they're going to do for you? They're going to sit in the chair so you don't have to. Years ago, that was not true, right? Like there was time, like I can go back in my world decades ago when if you weren't in front of your Bloomberg terminal and the phone, you were not in business. And you were not in business outside of market hours. I can remember those days. That is like a relic today. Doesn't really exist, right? It looks like the dinosaurs. So today, if you're watching me on YouTube, if you have this sucker in your pocket, you're in business. I'm holding up a mobile phone, by the way, for those of you who are not watching. Your business is with you, man. It's in your back pocket. Your email's there, your website's there, your text messaging there. You probably even have a portal to get online if you have to. It's all there. So guess what? You always are in business. I just don't want you hanging out and creating bad habits. Because the reality is you want to, and this is my rule, and I know some of you are young in your career, so this will apply a little bit differently, but you want to get enough downtime in enough what I'll call continuity that you miss the game. When I was, I told my wife Marissa about, I think we're just getting to, I think we're just getting to France. Went to Normandy, and it's a whole different experience there. And I remember getting back on the ship, and I said, I think I'm ready to go back. Like, I want to get after it. Like, I'm good. Like, it's been almost 2 weeks now, and I'm ready to go. Which tells me, okay, come back, let's crush it, right? That's when you know you've been away long enough to do that. And I'll say this. And again, I know it depends where you are in your career cycle. But if you've been at this for any length of time, 10, 15, 20 years, something like that, and you got a team, if you're not taking advantage of mini sabbaticals and bucket lists, and downtime, you're making a grave mistake. Why? You're sabotaging your success and stealing all the joy out of your world. Why do I say that? I'll ask a question. Let's say you go away on a 1-week vacation. Let me ask you, how productive are you the week before vacation? In my experiences, all my clients, like super productive, right? They kind of stop BSing around and kind of get stuff done, right? And I remember about 15 years ago, I said, well, if you guys get, if you can get 4 weeks worth of work done in 3 weeks, then why don't we just create a model where you work 3 weeks a month? Like if that's our evidence that says, and this is like totally outside the box thinking, this is like decades ago. I said, why not just work on it? And that's where I came up with the, hey, grow your business 20% a year and take 14 to 16 weeks off a year. And everybody thought when I first said that was like the craziest thing they ever heard. But now, not only we do it, but, some of my students have gone on to be coaches now in the industry. They teach it, right? Doing different things, or putting client windows together and stuff like that. Why? Because it works. And that's cool. And that's what makes it, in our game, and I say this often, and it's so true, being an advisor is literally the only profession that I'm aware of that you can have what I call your cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is that you can have economic abundance and time freedom. Those two tend to be mutually exclusive for most professions. Look at lawyers, look at doctors, look at CPAs. Look at anybody else, right? They normally have to be in the saddle to get paid. Here, with advisory, your saddle could be in your office. Your saddle could be, in Tuscany. You're going to get paid. It's a great deal. But so many of you squander what could be. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. And I know it's Memorial Day weekend. Do not show up next week on Tuesday in period 2 without a game plan. So here's some questions. Number 1, how many weeks of renewal, vacation, sabbatical am I going to take between Memorial Day and Labor Day? Number 2, how many CE credits do I need to get done before Labor Day? Number 3, are there any strategic projects myself and or my team need to tackle between this period, between Memorial Day and Labor Day? Segmentation, update on the website, any courses we want to take, any skill sets we want to do. Like this is the period of self-improvement. Okay? So keep that in mind. So I want you all to have a safe Memorial Day here in the United States. We'll be back next week. And if you want to learn more about strategic calendars and balance and integration and all the things that I teach, MagellanNetwork.net. I will gift you 30 days of the process on me. No strings. My reputation is everything. And with that, have a great, safe holiday week, and I'll see you all again next Friday. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.